Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to this week's yoga. We're going to get started standing up today. Just make sure there's enough. There we go. We're going to go through a little standing warm-up. And we'll begin standing in Tadasana, which is mountain pose, which is a nice grounding pose. So make sure your feet are about hip width apart. And just rock backwards and forwards on your feet for a moment, rocking to the ball and the front of the foot and then to the heel. So maybe you really feel your weight shifting and begin to feel how you use different muscles to find your kind of standing position. So to correct your falling back, you might use your core, you might feel your legs switching on. So just becoming aware of the body and the movement as you move back and forward like this. And then let the feet settle onto the ground and try to feel the kind of triangle of the foot that makes contact with the ground. So there's a point. The base of the triangle is the line between the base of the big toe and out to the side of the little toe. And then the top of the triangle would be in the middle of the heel at the back. So that's your contact and that's your kind of grounding, if you like, and your contact with the floor. Then working up through the body, knees over the ankles, hips over the knees, shoulders over the hips. And bring the hands to the side of the body with palms facing forward. And allow the chin to just drop so your chin is parallel with the floor. So we're not jutting the chin out or tucking it under here. We want the head to feel nice and balanced on the top of the spine. So close the eyes just for a second, just to scan down through the body. Relax the kneecaps. Sometimes we kind of get a little tense in other areas of the body. Relax the shoulders. And take a couple of deep breaths here, inhaling fully, feeling the ribs and the abdomen expand. And then as you exhale, just feel a little contraction of the ribs back in towards the body. So we're just beginning to connect with the breath now. One more nice big inhale. And a full exhale. And then bring your hands to your heart center and just set an intention for today's class to keep connected with that breath. Keep moving with the breath, really focusing on the inhale and the exhale, especially sometimes when we might hold our breath or we might feel a little bit of tension. Try to remember to breathe deeply. Okay, let's inhale, sweep the arms up overhead and take a gentle sway over to the right and then a sway over to the left. And this is a gentle movement. We're not going too far, just kind of working, warming up the spine in this sideways plane. Good. And then bring the hands all the way down behind the body and interlace your fingers. Stretch the hands down as you gently squeeze the shoulder blades together and now lift the chin and look up a little. Press the feet firmly into the floor and you could even feel the legs activating a little here. Big inhale, exhale, release. Sweep the arms back overhead and then fold forward, diving down into your first forward bend, keeping a micro bend in the knees and just sway a little bit from side to side here. Letting the weight of the head drop down towards the ground. Letting the hands just dangle down wherever they reach. They don't have to touch the floor. They don't have to be in any particular place right now. We're just letting everything hang over the legs. And then come to center and roll up to standing really slowly. And then sweep the arms back overhead with a big inhale. Stretch up here and then exhale. Bring the hands back down and interlace the fingers in the opposite position. So you usually have a default. Try to change that. Interlace the fingers and squeeze the shoulder blades together behind you again. Lift the chin. Take a nice big inhale. And a full exhale. Drop the chin, release the hands and have a little shake out. And even just flick the feet a little bit. Let's just warm up the feet for a moment. So hands can be on the hips, wherever, and just gently shift your weight into the left foot so you can just spin the right foot and the right ankles on the ground for a moment. Just maybe even massage the feet into the floor, just waking up the ankle, the toes, maybe even the knee and the hip. And then switch over to the other side, taking your weight into your right leg. Begin to spin the toes against the floor, turn the ankle, and go in both directions. Just kind of warming up that leg, maybe the knee and the hip. Good, and then stand with the feet a little bit wider apart, hands on the hips, knees loose, and just do a few hip circles. Just going around in one direction and then back in the other direction. And these circles can be big or small, really depends on your body today, knowing that it changes from day to day, depending on what you've been doing. Go back a couple of times in the other direction. Good, one or two more times. And then come to center, step the feet in. And let's make our way to the top of our yoga mat or our space. Bring the base of the big toes together, hands at heart center. Inhale, reach up here. As you inhale, and then exhale, fold forward down into that forward bend again. Knees can be bent. And then exhale, rise up. Inhale, and lengthen the crown of the head forward. Exhale now, fold the body in towards the legs and let the hands come down. And then we're just going to sweep up to standing this time. So sweep the arms up overhead. Inhale here. Exhale, hands to heart center. With the next inhale, we're going to sweep the arms up and then sit back into chair pose. So this is a nice kind of switch on for the legs, a little bit of core activation. Reach the fingers, try not to hug the shoulders too much. Try to keep the shoulders back, but the arms nice and stretched out. And then we're going to dive forward into your forward bend. Exhale here. Inhale, rise up, halfway lift. Nice flat back, extending the crown of the head forward. Exhale, fold in towards the legs. And then swing the arms up and come back into chair pose again. So we're sitting down into this imaginary chair. It can help to squeeze the quads a little bit. Imagine you're holding a yoga block or a towel between the thighs. So this is all kind of working and active. Keep the arms fairly light. You can reach the fingers and stretch through the fingertips for a little bit of activation, but the work is in the core and in the legs. And then stand up, reach the arms up, and sweep the hands down. Good. We're going to do that one more time. So let's bring our hands to our heart center. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, dive forward into a forward bend with a micro bend in the knees. Inhale, rise up to your halfway lift, nice flat back. The legs can be a little active here, so squeeze the quads, press the feet actively into the floor, and then exhale, fold, trying to keep the legs fairly straight here, bringing the torso down towards the legs. Inhale, let's just sweep straight up now, back to a standing, stretch arms overhead, exhale, hands to heart center. Now we're going to sweep the arms up and sit back into chair pose. So fire up those legs. The weight is in the heels. You want to try to take the hips back. If you look down, you should be able to just to say see the top of the toes. So if the knees are too far forward, try to scoot everything back and stand up a little. If we're trying to sit too far down, it's not a squat. It's this kind of halfway chair. The arms sweep up. Activate the core a little bit. So draw the tummy in. Kind of squeeze the abs a little bit, and even the pelvic floor should lift a little bit here to help support you. And then stand up nice and tall, sweep those arms down, and bring your hands to heart center. Oh, I forgot to add the halfway lift. Let's do it again. Inhale, talking too much, sit back into chair pose. Dive forward down into your forward bend. Inhale, rise up to halfway lift, nice flat back. Exhale, fold in towards the legs, nice forward bend, and then sweep the arms up as you sit back into chair pose. So fire up those legs, big inhale, exhale, stand up nice and tall, sweep the arms down and bring your hands back to your heart center. Nice job. Have a little shake out. Now we're going to come down to the mat and do a little bit of core activation. So let's come all the way down to the floor and sit with our legs out in front. So we need to have space to be able to roll down, and I'm going to give you a few options here. So depending on how the body's feeling today, you'll be able to kind of just modify as we go. So first of all, you can bend the knees, but see if you can roll all the way down onto your back using your core strength to lay the vertebrae down one at a time, coming all the way down. And then when you reach the floor, let everything go. Then I'm going to walk the right leg up, left leg up, lift the right leg, left leg up to the ceiling, and then bring the hands down so the palms are pressing firmly onto the floor for some activation. See if you can lift the hips off the floor and just roll back a little bit into a half plow. So using the core, and then roll everything down slowly. We're going to bend one knee, left knee, right knee, left knee, stretch out the right leg, stretch out the left leg, and then using the core strength, sit up, roll forward, and take a little forward stretch to the toes. So a little stretch here, and the hands can come here or here, just kind of stretching out the back in the opposite direction. So let's go through that again, sitting up nice and tall. For anyone who's feeling kind of energized and strong, you can always reach the arms up overhead to make it more challenging, and you can keep the legs straight when I say bend the knees. So there's a couple of little differences we can make. Inhale to prepare, and then exhale, roll everything down nice and slowly, using the core to help you. When you get all the way down, we're going to bend the knees in, lift the legs. This is where you can keep the legs straight as well. And then straighten the legs up overhead. Bring the hands down to the floor. Use the core to lift the hips. And if you want to, you can just do kind of little micro pulses here, using the core to lift the hips up. If you're feeling ready, you can lift up and over and come into a half plow. And then begin to slowly roll the spine down, using your core for some control here. And the options here, you can lower the legs slowly, one or two at a time, or bend the knees and lower the legs left and right, and stretch them out along the floor. From here, begin to roll up, coming all the way up, sweep the arms up overhead, and exhale into a little forward bend, taking the hands towards the toes or just onto the shins. Let's sit up. We're going to do that one more time. So hopefully everyone's kind of got a little bit of a feel of what we're doing. So inhale to prepare, and then exhale, roll everything down onto the mat really slowly. And then begin to bend the knees or lift the legs one at a time, taking them up overhead. And again, hands on the floor for support here. Engage the core, so a little bit of a drawing of the tummy button in towards the spine. And then you can do some little pulses, lifting the hips up and down, using the core, so trying not to use momentum. And then if you want to, you can lift up and over into a half plow, and then roll everything down, one vertebrae at a time. And then again, you can lower the legs one at a time, two at a time, or bend the knees, lower, lower, stretch out. And then let's roll up to sitting. Lift the arms up overhead, exhale into a little stretch here. Good. Nice work. So hopefully you should be feeling kind of warm and active here in the core. Now scoot forward so you have your knees bent. And we're just going to roll up into a bridge pose. So hands down on the floor by the hips. Begin to roll the pelvis back. So you're going to lift the tailbone up off the floor and then roll the spine up off the ground one vertebrae at a time. Maybe walk the heels in a little so you can lift the hips a little higher. Hold here. And we're going to repeat this a few times. So this first time, we're just going to roll everything back down onto the floor. Good. And then begin to roll back up again. Lifting the hips, pressing those feet actively into the floor. And then you can stay here and keep rolling up and down, moving with the breath. Or if you'd like to, you can squeeze the shoulder blades together underneath you, interlace the fingers, press the back of the arms actively into the floor, and see if you can lift the hips a little higher. It might help to walk the heels a little closer into you and just lift the toes up off the floor a little bit to make sure that your weight is in the heels. That helps to keep the glutes and the hamstrings active here. So press and lift. So you're welcome to stay here. Keep those hips really high. Another option is to press the left foot actively into the floor and lift the right leg up towards the ceiling and point that right toe. Let's hold for 3, 2, 1. Lower and switch right over to the second side. To press the right foot firmly into the floor first. Feel a little lightness in the left foot before you lift it up and then stretch it up towards the ceiling. Press that right foot, keep that right hip lifted. Hold 3, 2, 1, and then slowly lower down. And again, here, move with control. Try not to just collapse onto the floor. Take the arms out from underneath you and then roll the vertebrae down really, really slowly back to the mat, making sure the pelvis and the tailbone are the last things to roll down onto the floor. When you reach the floor, hug the knees into the chest and give yourself a little massage by rocking from side to side, just gently. And you can have the head on the ground, take the knees to the right, head to the left. A little bit of a twist here too. Good, bring the knees down and let's roll over onto our right hand side so you can come back up to sitting. So good job with the little bit of core work there, a little bit of activation. We're now going to go through an IT band sequence that will help to open up the hips, and I'll offer some modifications along the way. So to get started, we're going to sit in the middle of the mat. We're going to bend the knees up, and we're going to take the left knee down to the floor so the left foot comes under and the right foot steps over the knee. So I've got our right leg crossed over the left. And then there are a couple of options. You can stay here. If you're feeling pretty limber today, you can make your way into what we call cow face pose, where the foot comes a little closer and we're trying to stack the knees on top of each other. So you're sliding the feet down. We're going to sit up nice and tall. So even if you decide to stay here, you can still do the arm section. So we've got our right knee on top. So we're going to take our left arm up overhead. The right arm comes out in front, and then we sweep it around as if we were doing breaststroke and bring it behind us and bend the hand so the back of the hand touches your back. Then the left hand is going to reach down and see if you can reach for your fingertips. If they just touch, that's fine. Or if they don't touch, see if you can just bring the middle fingers to tap. Some of you might be able to interlace the fingers and take a hold or a bind. And this is a nice deep stretch here. A little extra fold can deepen the pose. So we're going to inhale and exhale, fold forward, bringing the chest towards the knees. Trying to keep the spine long. So trying not to collapse here. Try to use the core to hold the spine in a nice long straight position. Keep the crown of the head shooting forward. Big inhale. And then exhale, sit up. Release the hands, bring them all the way down. And then slide this right foot back. Now we're going to add a little twist. So my right foot is on the floor on the outside of my left knee. I'm going to bring my right hand behind my right hip on the floor, wrap my left arm around the shin, and come into a nice twist. The key here is to think about this right hip. It might want to slide back towards your right shoulder. See if you can keep the right hip pressing forward as the right shoulder presses back. Sit up nice and tall. And obviously the breath is a little constricted here, so breathe as comfortably as you can. See if you can press the right foot into the floor a little. There are lots of little micro adjustments we can make to get a little bit more out of each pose. Okay, one more inhale. Exhale, turn to look forward, and then begin to uncurl your body. And we're going to spin all the way around to the left. Spin the right foot around and step it forward. So now you'll be facing the other way on your mat. Bring the hands to the inside of the right foot, tuck the left toes under and lift up into this lunge. And then let the right knee roll out a little bit. Good. And you can even pivot forward and back a couple of times here. So we're just getting into that right hip. Now we're going to spin around, bring the hands to the middle of the mat and come into this wide-legged forward bend. So the toes are facing forward. Press the outside edges of the feet into the floor and really activate the legs here. Lift the heart and lift the head so your spine is in that kind of nice flat position parallel with the floor. Then we're going to bring the left hand to the middle of the mat. Rotate to look to your right and let the right arm come up, taking a nice twist in the forward bend. You can look to the right or look up at your fingertips. But keep those legs active. Notice if the legs want to follow. So try to keep the hips where they are and rotate through your waist. Take a nice big inhale, exhale, bring that right hand down. And begin to spin back around to the front of the mat. And now we've got our right leg back and we can pivot forward and back a couple of times. And then let the left knee roll out to the middle, out to the side, sorry. Hands are in the middle of the floor. And then begin to spin back to our wide-legged forward bend again. Lift the heart center, extend the crown of the head forward so the back is flat. Really press the feet actively into the floor so the legs are nice and strong and stable. And then begin to rotate through your waist. Bring the right hand to the middle of the mat. And the left hand can come to your hip, or you can reach it up overhead. But notice if that left hip wants to hike up and the right hip wants to drop. Try to keep the hips parallel and look to the side or up over to your left hand. Big inhale, exhale, bring that left hand down, and then pivot around again. Drop the right knee to the floor, and we're going to see if we can draw that right knee in, sit down on the mat, and now our left leg is crossed over our right. So we should be sitting up nice and tall. Good. So now we're going to come into a little twist. So we're going to wrap that right arm around the left knee, bring the left hand to the outside of the left hip, and look around over your left shoulder. So coming into this nice twist. Again, make sure this left hip stays forward as the left shoulder goes back. One more inhale, exhale, come around to the front. Now, an option is to stay here if this already kind of feels like you're being shoved in a bucket. That's okay. Another option is to see if you can take yourself in slightly deeper into this opening for the hips by sliding this foot further around and stacking the knees. And this is definitely, for me, I feel this more on one side than the other. My left hip is a little tighter. I'm going to sit up nice and tall here. Take the right arm up towards the ceiling. The left hand comes forward and reaches around as if I was doing breaststroke, and then bring the back of the hand in contact with my back. Drop the right hand down and see if the fingertips can touch, or maybe even you can take a bind and sit up nice and tall. If the hands are still quite far apart, just press the top of the right hand into the back of the neck and see if you can keep the arms a little active here. You can still take the fold. Inhale, exhale, extend the crown of the head forward as you bring yourself down over the legs. But again, try not to collapse here. Try to keep lengthening the crown of the head forward. Fold. Big inhale. Exhale. And then lift up with another inhale. Exhale, release the hands down. And then we're going to slowly unfold the legs. Bring the feet out in front, sit back on your hands, and then just let the legs roll from right to left a couple of times. Just releasing the hips a little, letting them kind of relax. Good. And then slowly bring the feet in, let the knees drop out to the side, sit up, and come into a butterfly stretch or cobbler pose. So we're going to hold the feet, and there are a couple of options. You can hold onto the ankles, the toes, or you might even like to take your two first fingers and wrap them around the big toe and sit up nice and tall. Inhale and exhale, fold into the space. So the idea is not to collapse the spine again. Try to keep the heart center lifted and really fold from the hips. And even if you just move a tiny fraction, you're still really helping the hips. Good. Inhale, exhale, release. Bring the knees in, stretch the legs out in front. Sweep the arms up overhead and begin to fold with a flat back, taking the hands towards the feet. Lengthen as you exhale and really try to deepen the stretch. Try to think of stretching yourself out over your legs. If you notice, this is like the forward bend we do in our sun salutation, but now we're in a different relationship to gravity. So maybe we can focus on the hamstrings a little bit more. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold, and really try to think of lengthening out rather than collapsing forward. And then when you reach your kind of maximum stretch, if your hands are on your ankles, your shins, your feet, relax the head for a moment and close the eyes here. And begin to soften a little bit into the pose, noticing where you feel this setup in the body. Do you feel it more in the hamstrings? If you feel it behind the knees, put a little micro bend in the knees and try to lengthen. Keep lengthening. See if you can sink a little lower. One more inhale, and then exhale, slowly, slowly roll up to sitting. Good. From here, scoot forward on the mat so you can bring yourself down onto your back and hug the knees into the chest. And just give yourself a moment here, maybe a little massage by rocking from side to side. And then hug the right knee in, stretch the left leg away. Do a little spinal twist, taking the right knee over to the left and reaching the right arm out along the floor. You can turn to look over your right hand. Take a nice big breath here, full exhale. And then roll back to center and switch sides. Hug the left knee in, stretch the right leg away. And then roll over, bringing the left leg over to the right, coming to a spinal twist on the other side. The left arm reaches out along the floor. A couple of breaths here. And then slowly come back to center. Hug both knees in. And then let's take a happy baby. So taking the feet up towards the floor, you can hold onto the ankles or wrap the hands around the soles of the feet. And just relax the back and the shoulders onto the ground, the back of the head. And again, you can roll from side to side, pedal the feet up and down here, bring the toes in. You can make it quite active by kicking the feet up and then drawing them down with your hands. So a little bit of deeper stretch into the hips. Good, then release, bring the feet and the hands down. And then finally, just hug yourself into a tiny ball. So you're going to wrap the arms around the shins, draw the forehead up towards the knees, and squeeze everything into that center. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then exhale, release. Let the feet stretch out along the mat, coming into corpse pose, shavasana. Let the hands rest on the floor, the back of the hands making contact with the ground, and feeling the fingers soften. They might curl a little bit. Closing the eyes, just begin to release the body to the ground now, letting the back of the head feel heavy, the shoulders, the spine, back of the hips, back of the legs, feeling the point of contact with the back of the heel on the ground. And if you need to, feel free to hug the knees back into the chest to release the lower back. Begin to feel everything slow down now, just for a few minutes of relaxation. Take your awareness to your breath and really feel the rise of the body with the inhale and the softening of the body with the exhale. And if the mind starts to wander to thoughts of the future or tries to think back to the past, just observe those thoughts and then take your awareness slowly and kindly back to your breath. So without critique, without judgment, just guide your awareness back to your breath. And even begin to say inhale, exhale, just to help you stay with the breath, staying in each moment. Coming back to the breath whenever you notice. The thoughts are running away. Take one more big inhale. And with the next exhale, begin to wiggle the fingers and toes, slowly bringing some movement back to the body. Take a nice big inhale to energize the body again, and a full exhale, maybe even stretching the arms out overhead and pointing and flexing the toes, taking a full body stretch. And then bring the hands and the legs in towards the body and roll over onto your right hand side. Pause here before then pressing the hands into the floor and just making your way up to an easy cross-legged position just for the end of this practice today, so we can come together. And let's bring our hands into our heart centers in a prayer position. Thank you for joining this class today. Thank yourself for taking this time, and I wish you a wonderful evening.